I get shit done, I have fun. It's my time and I'm the one. I'm breaking through.
Hey, I clicked the right button and I actually showed up. Welcome to another edition of the Business Renovator. I'm your host, Coach Phil, and we're going to talk about how to leverage LinkedIn. So the show's called Leveraging It LinkedIn. If you're watching this live, thank you for being here with us today. And if you're watching this on the replay, hashtag replay would be appreciated. And let us know where you're watching from. And please share this out if you see value in this. And one other ask is, who do you know that has a message that you feel is worthy of hearing? Make an introduction. Let's get them on the show. Just never know what they might say, and somebody picks up and it changes their life. Just like a kaleidoscope, one little twist can change everything. So here's a shameless plug from my company right now for you. So are you a business owner, entrepreneur, salesperson? Do you have a question that's bugging you, driving you crazy? Reach out. Let's have a conversation, a complimentary session with a business coach. That's what I am. And we're powered by Brian Tracy. If you've never heard of him, go look him up on the internet. You'd be amazed. 90 books and 300 programs over the course of his life. And we're honored and happy to be able to work with his content and with Brian himself. So if you have a question on time, team, money, sales, exit strategies, shoot us a note. Let's set up a conversation. And if it's not me to answer the question, I'm part of a network of business coaches around the globe. So today we're going to talk about leveraging LinkedIn. And my guest is an expert in the area of LinkedIn, and we actually met via LinkedIn, and we created a relationship, and we converse, and we share posts and share ideas. So Rhonda Scher is a nationally recognized LinkedIn expert, entrepreneur, speaker, author, and networking expert. She is author of 5 books and has trained thousands of business owners and coaches, entrepreneurs, on how to leverage LinkedIn. She focuses on providing a comprehensive done-for-you service that includes complete profile upgrades, optimization, in addition to individual and group coaching on how to book, 2 to 20 appointments a week using LinkedIn. Let's not wait anymore. Let's bring up my friend, Rhonda. Here she is. Hi, Rhonda. Thanks for being here.
How are you? Nice to see you.
One of the things I like about what you and I do is we persist. We did run into some challenges a couple of weeks back, but we said, you know what? Stuff happens. We'll reschedule, and voila, here we are. So I'm looking forward to learning a little bit more about you. You know, like I just learned today, you're in San Diego, one of my favorite places to visit in your wonderful country, and you don't like where I'm living so much.
No, I like where you're living. I just don't like the cold.
I don't like the temperature. Yeah, I get it. Yeah. So, how long have you been in San Diego?
Actually, I've only been in San Diego since October of 2020. Before that, I was about an hour north. I was in what people know of Temecula. That it's a beautiful wine country. So I lived in the Murrieta Temecula area.
Oh, very cool.
And now I'm 3 blocks from the beach. So it's so much better.
Which beach?
Carlsbad.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
One of my big, hairy, audacious goals is to hang out at Mission Beach. You know, they've got those properties right on the boardwalk that are parallel with them, and they overlook the boardwalk and the ocean. So I thought this past Christmas, I was thinking about doing it, and then I looked at the rentals. I thought, I'm not quite there yet. but I'm
Just
going to
coach
do
a
it.
couple more clients, and there you go,
Yeah,
right?
that's right. Exactly. It's if you've never been there, it's a beautiful place to go hang out and just enjoy Earth and people. Actually, there's a lot of interesting people there. Anyway,
For
speaking of
sure.
people, what got you into being an expert in LinkedIn?
Well, it's kind of interesting. I'd always been a natural networker, and the first book I wrote was called The 2 Minute Networker. And the theory behind it was you're 2 minutes and two people away from your next referral.
Hmm.
And what I used to tell people was to be successful at networking, you needed to do the two things your mother taught you not to do. One was talk to strangers, and the second one is basically practice the F word, right? Follow up. So when LinkedIn came out, what I realized was that there was a way to network online and offline and marry the two. And I just really jumped into it. Now, my background was I was a paralegal. So I knew a whole lot about how to navigate, just the system itself. And in 2009, I wrote a book, which is completely and totally outdated, called The ABCs of LinkedIn: Get LinkedIn or Get Left Out. And that was the journey that got me onto it. And I found it was just one of the coolest ways to create relationships, make friends, and grow a business. So that was pretty much the road that I got there. And I love it.
Cool. Interesting. Yeah, networking. That's how I started my business back in 91, but not on LinkedIn, but the idea of it being a networking group. And what I ended up doing is creating a networking group for people. Well, back then the internet hadn't even been released to the world. So we used fax machines to communicate it, real live face-to-face networking. And one of the things we used to do was have a guest and have that guest come from our local area and share some wisdom knowledge of their journey that they were on. What's cool about what we're doing today is I'm kind of sort of doing that again. So I have a guest that you're sharing your journey, and we're getting some insights in and around that. So it's kind of fantastic. One of the things that's different, I think, about LinkedIn is you're meeting people virtually, and that's good or bad. It's neither or. Um, how do you help us or recommend to us to uh, what am I trying to ask you?
To
How?
create those to create those relationships, you mean, and you
Yeah.
know, kind of grow the network. It's interesting. You can do one of two things. If you already have, a decent network on LinkedIn, one of the things that I recommend to do is actually reach out to those people that you're already connected to and reconnect. So you talk about the virtual, and one of the things that I think that people can do, and it's just easy and fun, and as long as you stay out of the quote no sale zone, right? You're not looking to sell somebody, you're just looking to get to know them. Reach out to them. So I could send you a message on LinkedIn, whether I send it to you as a video, an audio, in text, and it might say something like, "Hey Phil, we've been connected for quite a while, but we've never spoken. I'd love to jump on a call, see how we might support each other, share resources, and just get to know one another on a face-to-face virtual Zoom. If you're up for it, here's a link to my calendar. Love to just get to know you for about 20 minutes." And the majority of people, knowing ahead of time that you're not going to be selling them, will book on your calendar. So imagine that if you do that once or twice a day, that's an hour out of your day. How many people can you refer? There's probably so many people that I'll come up with. They'll say, "Oh my gosh, you need to meet Coach Phil. He's looking for interesting guests on his show." Or maybe it's somebody that's looking for a business coach, or it's a referral for a realtor or an attorney, or maybe it's somebody that needs their profile upgraded. So you never know where the opportunities are going to lie, but it's always an opportunity for a great conversation.
You know what I like about what you said about
What,
that?
what's
Pretty much
that?
everything. And one of the things that you covered there was it's not about pitching and connecting. And there's so many people and it's not just on LinkedIn, but it's on social media anywhere. They reach out and they say, I'd love to connect to you, or I'd love to add you, or I'd love to be added. Then you add them and they go right into, hey, I help, right? It's like,
Hey, are your financial services ready for retirement? Because if they're not, and it's like, wait, you want me to get financially naked with you, but I don't even know who you are. You
right.
know?
I love that. Financially, it's like courting. Like, not very many women are impressed with guys that go and do that kind of approach. We need to buy you a coffee, have a conversation, maybe go for a walk, do some things, right?
Yeah, and it's amazing to me. I call that the people that do the spray and pray.
Yes.
And I had somebody who was, well, from looking at the date that he graduated college, his photo, his initial message to me was, is your retirement set yet? Would you like a complimentary review of all of your finances? That was in his connection message.
Wow.
And I actually reached out to the guy and I said, I have children older than you. I don't think that this is the way that, I want my kids to plan my retirement. And by the way, you might want to get to know me before you pitch me,
Yeah.
So, and again, sometimes it's a blind spot, and sometimes it's just, these, they just want to go for just go for it, and it's a numbers game. But the reality is that if you have a conversation with somebody, you just don't know where it's going to go, who they're going to introduce you to, but you have to come into it with the mindset of, how can I help? What resource do I have for you?
Yeah. I'm just looking around for a prop that I use all the time. It's on the back of a card I have here. Just excuse me. I'm going to hold it up for everybody. And it says, no one cares about you until they know how much you care about them. That's the theme in the training and the coaching philosophy that I have. So when
Yeah.
I get hit on like what we're talking about here, I just go, they don't get this. They're an ideal client for me, maybe. Anyway. But
Well,
I don't.
what's interesting. What's interesting about that is when you look at the about section of a LinkedIn profile, and every sentence starts with the word I.
Hi.
Oh my gosh, it's you know what? I do want to know about you, but first I want to know, why do I want to know about you, right? Because we know that people take action typically for one of three reasons: to get out of pain. Really, I've never seen anybody go get a root canal because they love their dentist.
Yeah.
To seek pleasure. That's why we go on vacation. That's why we get massages. And then the third one is fear of the future. That's why we buy life insurance and do our wills, right? So you need to tell people how you can help them. And then you need to also give them the third party proof. Because what I have found is that, especially now, since we're hybrid or we're still virtual, some of us, we don't buy stuff on Amazon unless we read the reviews. We don't watch movies unless we check the stars. We look at the Yelp reviews. We look at the Google reviews. Well, the same thing is true on LinkedIn, because people are 2 times more likely to believe what they see on LinkedIn than they are on any other platform. So why wouldn't you put what other people have said? Why wouldn't you put case studies on there? It just makes sense.
Yeah, attraction marketing is based on providing education. I have a formula that I follow, and I didn't create the formula, but we do teach it to our clients, because it's really impactful, and it's a conversion formula. You need to interrupt, engage, educate, and have your offer. And the offer needs to be more than, hey, call me. People don't want to be sold, but maybe the call to action or the offer is, hey, let's have a complimentary session. Let me have a look at your LinkedIn profile. Can give you some insights about that. And then if you like what we're about, then we can go to the next step. And maybe that's all you do. Maybe there is a connection and maybe something else comes from it. But if we're pitching, unless we're playing baseball or football in Europe, pitch is irrelevant, in my opinion.
Yeah. It reminds me of one of my clients, Diane said. Diane had said, to be terrific, you have to be specific.
Oh, I love that. You
Yeah.
heard it here. Say that again. That's worthy of a
To
repeat.
be terrific, you have to be specific.
That's brilliant. I love that. Yeah,
Yeah.
specificity is everything. And one of the reasons why I'm with Focal Point and that brand name is it's all about being specific, having a focal point. Don't try to be everything to everybody. Most entrepreneurs are small enough that they don't have the bandwidth of the larger organizations, like say a Walmart. They cater to millions, so they're very wide and very shallow in terms of their depth. In our space, it's really specific that we need to be like drilling for oil and just going down a straight line and not so wide, not so far straight.
No, that's absolutely true. And one of the things that I don't do is I don't work with job hunters. I refer those people to other experts that specifically work with job hunters. So you do have to be pretty specific. It makes sense that you stay. I tell people, stay in your lane. I wouldn't think of cutting my own hair because then I wouldn't go out in public. So unless you're really good, you don't really want to do your own LinkedIn profile unless you take a course and learn how to do it. Don't just wing it, because you have to write it to your audience, because you want to know think of it like a dating profile. It's pretty similar, right?
Right. What's interesting about what you said there, that LinkedIn, there are two paths that I'm aware of for putting content on. And one is, are you looking for employment? The message and information you put on there is totally different than if you're leveraging LinkedIn for your business side of things, isn't it? Like the messaging is totally different.
It is. And, here's something that a lot of businesses may not think about. Think about the world today in real estate. Right now, if you're selling a home, there's a very good chance you're going to get multiple offers. So the seller is the one that's going to decide which one of those buyers are going to get the home. Now, sometimes they decide based on price, but and what the offer is. But sometimes they decide based on whether they like that, who they like, because they're moving into the home and there's an emotional attachment. So one of the things that I think is really interesting about LinkedIn is that when you are an employer, and right now there's many employees and they're deciding between multiple jobs, I would recommend that the employer have some video testimonials from their employees talking about the culture, talking about why they love working there, because that could potentially tip the scale to get that person to say, you know what, maybe the salary isn't as good as that other job, but these employees love working here. So that's another way that, as an employer who's looking to grow their business and needs to hire, could tip the scale, because hopefully that potential employee is going to check out the profile of the CEO or the hiring person.
Right. And then on the flip side, where we're hanging out our shingles and our energy and time, is we could leverage video in a similar fashion, have edification videos by our happy customers as to why they liked, enjoyed, and the gains they got from working with us, right?
Oh, absolutely. And that's where you can put them in the featured section. You can put them underneath your experience section. LinkedIn is very, very generous with the amount of rich text media that they allow you to put on your profile.
Cool.
So it's a great thing to do, because we know that what somebody else says is 1,000 times more powerful than what you say about yourself.
Oh, absolutely. I teach that in my sales training. Absolutely. If we say it, it's a claim. If we've got somebody else who says it on our behalf, it's fact. It's like a lawyer or a judge looking at something from a legal point of view. Bruce Himbola, a friend of mine, I don't know if you know Bruce or not. He's a brilliant guy. He has a question here. Are skills useful for search on LinkedIn?
They are, from the standpoint of using what the keywords are, because if you look at the section on skills, you'll notice that only the first 3 show up. You can see all of them. However, where they are useful is that if they're the right keywords. So if I'm looking for a business coach, you're going to probably come up, if you have that in your skills. And those are the top 3 skills are the ones that you want to aim for, the 99 plus. They're also called endorsements. They're not the most important part of your profile. I think the most important part of your profile is going to be your headline, your about section, your banner, and recommendations.
Cool. So to help people understand what you and I are talking about, in the event that they've never seen LinkedIn, I don't know if that's possible today, but it could be. And for those of us who are familiar with it, let's have a look at your profile, which we can see up here on LinkedIn.
So the first thing you notice is the banner.
Right.
And if you look at the banner, it has, first of all, a picture of the international best-selling book I have, Convert Your Connections to Cash
Right up
and
there.
Relationships to Revenue. It has my logo, the Sure Method. It also has my tagline, Converting Relationships to Revenue. But what it does do is it's in my colors, right? Because, I'm bright and it's bright and it tells you what I do. I'm an expert helping individuals and companies maximize your profile to generate new business. And then it gives you a phone number, which I won't answer that phone, by the way, but there is a very cool outgoing voicemail on it, and I will call you back. So I've given you a way to reach me. I don't use a website because I get most of my business from LinkedIn. So in my particular, I know I do have a landing page because I have courses and things, but the reality is that it's really all about being a resource. So the next thing you might want to look at here, Phil, is the photo. I'm looking directly at the camera, I'm smiling, and it's a professional headshot. And if you're not sure if your picture is a good one, go to Photo Feeler. It's a great little app that will tell you whether your picture is a good one. And then underneath my name, instead of just having my title, LinkedIn expert, or whatever you want to call me, I have 240 characters to tell you what I do. And I just changed it yesterday. And I put on the bottom, Posting for Profit Masterclass, because I've been conducting my masterclass now just about every month. And so I wanted people to know that there's something new. And that's a masterclass where I teach people how to generate those appointments, right, using the power of posting. And it's a free webinar that I do. And so I changed it.
Cool.
But that's and Canva, Canva, is a place where you can go create a cool banner for free.
Yeah, I love Canva. It's a powerful, easy to use tool.
Yeah. So it's pretty easy, and it's, again, it's always that first impression. So when somebody comes to your profile, is what they heard about you consistent with what they see?
And then
then all the information is there.
Yeah, cool. Get rid of that one. Maybe. Hang on. There we go. All right, it's gone. And then highlights and things in here.
Yeah. Well, not so much the highlights, but the about section. So what you notice about the about section is that you want them to click see more. So, you kind of like have to get them at hello. So I jump out and say, are you in the LinkedIn Witness Protection Program? Which basically means nobody's finding you. Looking for a way to be positioned. And then I go into, the services that are offered and my background. And I actually share a little bit of my personal story, which is that I have a husband and a husband. I married the same man twice. So I like to say I have a husband, a husband, didn't have to change my name, and the kids are ours. And I tell that story, very briefly in there. But there's a lot of people that do what I do, and you're going to resonate with somebody, just like there's a lot of great business coaches out there. And people resonate with you because of your warm personality, because of your experience. Well, I want them to know who I am to see if we're, going to be a good fit.
Right. Yeah, a husband. I like that. I've heard that before, but I still like it. And then featured. What's this all about?
So the featured section is where you can do a whole lot of creative stuff. So the first one, that's actually a PowerPoint with a bunch of testimonials that I have. And I put them into a PowerPoint and it scrolls across. So they're static, but you read them. The second one is actually a video of one of my clients, Tim O'Brien. And he's talking about how when he first, it was introduced to me, he thought his profile was pretty good. So I did a complimentary audit for him, and he realized, wow, there's so much I'm missing. And then we started working together, and he talks about how with his program, Rainmaker U, it increased and he monetized just working together. So it's just another way. And then there's many, many of them on there, but the next one is actually me on a podcast with one of my clients, John Norrell. And it's kind of a cool podcast, and there's a ton of stuff on, following that one. But again, nobody's pretty much going to go through it. They're only going to look at the first 3, but you can see there's 19. So That's what that featured section is. You know, you don't need to go overboard. Just put 3 things there. My recommendation is if you can do a case study, put that there. If you have a really great interview, put that there, and then put some testimonials.
Cool. And then you've got activity, right?
I have a lot of activity. Posting is magic if you do it consistently. So click on posts right there on the top, right there. Click on posts.
Yep.
And then you'll see what I posted. So that's a picture of me with my dog. And the post was just, if you look up, you can kind of see what I wrote. Sometimes you just need a little time with a friend. In this case, it's my adorable Bichon Cooper. And if you click see more, okay.
Yeah. It won't let, it's not
It's
working.
not letting, it's probably because we're just on this platform.
Oh, here we go.
There it is, right? So I'm inviting you, right? I said, think about it. Dogs just want to be loved, walked, paid attention to. What if we treated the people in our life the way we treat our pets? What would it look like? And so then I put just a picture of me. So you can scroll down a little bit, right? That was just, and I took that picture because that day my dog had gotten a haircut. He looked so cute. So I took a little picture of him. But you'll notice if you scroll down just a little bit further, okay, 32 people liked that post, right? And I also had some comments. So if you click on that 32, you can see everybody. And if you wanted to have those conversations, I could reach out to any one of those people and say, hey, thanks so much for liking the post with Cooper and I, and you know how dogs give us this unconditional love, and invite them to jump on a call with me. So about 70% of what I post is motivational and inspirational, and 30% is educational.
Cool. That's just one of many posts that you and 11 comments came back on there. That actually, when it says 11 comments, they actually commented, right? It wasn't just a reaction.
Yeah, it's actually not 11 though, because when they comment, I comment back. But
Oh, okay.
follow down to the next one for a second, because it's kind of a cool thing. So if you look at the next one, I'm sharing this. Okay, this is not my post. This is a post of somebody that I love, Brian, who I follow. So 19 years later, she's a pilot just like her dad. Now take a look at the numbers. Scroll down a little bit further. Okay, 325 people liked it when I posted it, not when Brian posted it. When Brian posted it, he had a few more zeros after his, right? And 12 comments. But again, I just shared it. So liking, commenting, and sharing is an awesome way to be able to support the people that are in your network, especially when they're posting stuff that makes you smile. I think that's an incredible photo. And
I do too.
Yeah, it makes you smile, right? And not everybody follows Brian. So Brian will generate more followers potentially because I've shared his stuff. But that, you know, what I really wanted to do was inspire my audience. And if I couldn't do it, then I'm going to do it with, you know, share somebody else's stuff, which
Right.
people love when you do that.
Yeah, right. You know what's interesting about that? How did they know that they were going to have this? Like, did he think about this? Did they talk about it? To have her, like, to have the foresight back then in 2001 to take that picture?
Yeah, it's kind of curious. I don't know, but it's just kind of fun. This was another fun post that I did. I saw this picture and with the books. And so what I asked people in that post was, what great book are you reading? And if you look at the comments, you'll see some really great recommendations for books. And also 49 people liked it and 26 people commented on it. Kind of cool, huh?
That is a good book, Coming Supernatural. I have it. Dr. Joe's stuff. That's interesting.
Joe Dispenza, yeah, right.
Yeah, it's cool. Cool.
So it's just kind of fun when you scroll through and, you know, you look and, you know, and again, it's just, I'm not a big person who likes to watch the news, but I love to read motivational and inspirational stuff on LinkedIn. You know, that's one of the things that I've done for years. And, you know, and I learn a lot, you know, I learn a lot in stuff, you know, in terms of the business stuff that people post, but I'm more interested in being motivated and inspired and then sharing that and passing it forward.
And I think you did as much as we could. Well, you did. I didn't do it. I listened and pointed and brought things up. You're the one with the wisdom and expertise in and around this space. And one of the things I forgot to do, and I promised I would, to make it easier for people to find where you are, hang on. Let's put this up there because we have it. How they can get a hold of you on LinkedIn, so it's easier to see. That's how you can get hold of Rhonda. If you were inspired or have a question or anything you want to ask her about LinkedIn, or maybe where she got her puppy looked after.
He was a rescue, actually.
Was he?
Yeah.
Cool. But where do you get them groomed? Maybe they want to go to the same groomer. You just never know, right?
You never know.
So you can, or if you want to have Rhonda on your show, if you're watching this and you have a podcast or a video cast, whatever you're doing, I'm sure she would entertain the idea of being on your show. One last thought. What would you share with us as a nugget or an action that we could take?
Well, that's a great question, because if you think about it, people are 2 times more likely to believe what they read on LinkedIn than any other platform. So what I would invite you to do is, if you have somebody that really sends you business, that refers to you quite a bit, or maybe they're just a client or a customer, have them look at your LinkedIn profile and ask them this question. Based on my profile, the way that you see it, even though you know me and you know how, what great service I provide, would you still refer me if you knew that people were going to come to this profile? And what I would suggest is, if they say no, then do one of 2 things. Take it down or fix it up, because you really don't get that second chance to make a first impression. So that would be my pearls of wisdom. Just have somebody that you know, like, and trust look at your profile, or reach out to me. I'll give you a complimentary audit of it. Happy to do that.
Excellent. And we have where you can be found on the bottom there. We had that. And if you missed it, you can come back and watch the replay on LinkedIn or on YouTube, because it'll be landing there. Wow, this was fascinating, and it went way too fast. I love your energy. I love your passion for helping people and connecting people and helping us get connected, everybody. Again, I want to thank you for being such a great guest on my show. Appreciate that.
Thank you. And I'll leave you with my favorite line.
Okay.
If you're not LinkedIn, you're left out.
If you're not LinkedIn, you're left out. You heard it here first. Thanks again, Rhonda.
Thanks, Phil.
So that's a wrap. Again, if you liked what you heard here today, you can reach out to Rhonda and get connected with her. Or if you're looking to get a question around business, reach out to me. I'm happy to help you in that regard. And again, if you know somebody who's got a message that you feel, even if they might not feel, that needs to be heard or shared, let's have an introduction. Let's get them on the airwaves. Let's see if we can help make the world just a little bit better. On that note, that's another episode of the Business Renovator. Come to conclusion.
I get shit done, I have fun. It's my time and I'm the one. I'm breaking through.